Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. Bitcoin was spooked by a ghost on Wednesday, tumbling 7% in the span of an hour on reports. A previously inactive address dating to the blockchain's network's earliest days had transferred more than $300,000 worth of Bitcoin. The scare brought a quick end to Bitcoin's 4-day rally. Prices for the largest cryptocurrency by market value fell to around 9,500 at 1715. The problem is it fell even further from 9788 on Tuesday. Earlier Wednesday, the rapid sell-off took Bitcoin as low as $9,100 from nearly 9,800. The hourly drop was the biggest tumble since the 10th of May, when a brief outage on Coinbase caused the price of Bitcoin to dip 10% in 30 minutes. Wednesday's tumble was most pronounced on Luxembourg-based exchange Bitstamp, where the price for one Bitcoin lost 7% in 1 hour. The sudden drop came as crypto traders lit up Twitter after Bitcoin blockchain data showed the address, inactive for 11 years, had moved up to 50 Bitcoin to different wallets, then another 9.99 BTC earlier in the day. The address owner is unknown at present, but the coins were valued at around $379,200 at press time. If you can hear the tone of my voice, there's a reason for this. I have never, ever in my entire life been a part of a market that is this dumb. I saw this news and I thought it was a joke. And when you click around, for those of you not looking at the screen, just simply avert your eyes. It says Bitcoin price dumps over fear. Satoshi Nakamoto moved coins. 50 Bitcoin just moved from a 2009 wallet. Did Satoshi Nakamoto just move 50 Bitcoin? Satoshi is alive? 50 Bitcoin mined in 2009 were just moved to unknown wallet. It's very difficult for me to, I want to say not curse and keep a lot of my fury boxed up right now. Do you understand how stupid you have to be as a trader, as in anything within the crypto, within any market, to sell off? And it's not even like it was a slight sell-off. The sell-off, is there a chart somewhere here? One of these things, this is the actual chart for it. This isn't a fake, like this is one of the actual movements of it. It's a straight shot down. Who the hell cares if 50 Bitcoin were moved? How fragile is the cryptocurrency? How fragile is Bitcoin? If you can move 50, we've seen before in the past. We've seen many other times before where there are people who may move 45,000 Bitcoin, 16,000 Bitcoin from one address to another. These addresses have been active for the last 2 years, but this one big move may have moved to a cryptocurrency exchange. The idea is, while there may be a huge amount of liquidity within Bitcoin's market, there's not a sufficient amount to be able to potentially handle a huge sell-off from all these coins at once. And the crazier part is, when these coins end up moving around, they're never actually sold. Like, these coins end up moving around in an effort to bring the price of Bitcoin down. That's all that's happened. Like, a lot of these coins never actually end up being sold off, ever. The same exact thing when people are putting in fake buy and sell orders to move the price of Bitcoin. How can you understand? Look, it's one thing to have 14, 25, 35. I mean, listen, if someone at one point is selling off 150,000 Bitcoin, I would go, okay, there's a really huge, like something really massive is about to happen. 50 Bitcoin moving is insane. That means this market should almost not exist. That means that means Bitcoin is as strong as a string of feathers tied together by dental floss. What would have happened? So for those of you who don't know, the rumor has been for a while, none of this has been substantiated, what have you, that apparently, maybe, allegedly, Satoshi Nakamoto, I think it's just legend at this point, is in possession of 1 million Bitcoin on a wallet that are never, ever, 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 ever going to move. What would have happened if, in fact, Satoshi Nakamoto had actually moved 50,000 Bitcoin? Would we be looking at a $300 Bitcoin right now? What would have happened if multiple addresses that had been dated and not had moved since Satoshi Nakamoto had been around, or since all these coins had been mined, and 1 million Bitcoin had moved? We would be looking at Bitcoin pennies on the dollar, like actual fragments of a penny. The entire cryptocurrency market would have been decimated. Who cares if 50, and these are, listen, you see these tabs up here? These are 6 of several hundred. The entire point of the cryptocurrency market, the entire point of the Bitcoin market, the entire point of a peer-to-peer decentralized space has to do with the fact that you can do with your money as you choose to do whenever you want. It's your money. You can go for it. What if this is the market's response to the who the hell cares if this was Satoshi Nakamoto or not? Even if it was, he has a right to move his own money. It's his money. He has the right to do so. If he had to move 15,000 Bitcoin, I would have gone, well, good for him. I hope he buys a house in the Hamptons. The fact that this caused so much fervor, and even more so, the news that was going around, this is even better. The amount of people I saw talking about that it was actually there's two sides to this stupid coin. That it was Craig Wright who moved the coin, and this was his big move to crash the price of Bitcoin. Wow, sit in your own corner. The other side was, remember last year or the year before when Craig Wright went before the judge, and the judge was like, you have to show me proof that you actually own all of these Bitcoin addresses. And he handed the judge a stack of papers of 14,000 addresses and were like, yeah, these are all mine. But then we realized that they were just simply the first transactions that actually happened on the Bitcoin network. So people are like, well, clearly it's not him, because one of the addresses that he listed was actually one of the coins that was actually moved, and he doesn't have the actual keys to them because he told the judge he doesn't even have the keys to them. Why this made world headline news, I don't know. Like, I of course, I get the significance of Satoshi Nakamoto, this famous figure in the cryptocurrency space, potentially coming back and moving his coins. And oh my gosh, he is alive. He's still moving. Who cares? Why did Bitcoin's price drop $800 over the course of a couple of minutes because 50 Bitcoin were moved? What would the market, can you imagine if Bitcoin was nearing $18,000? Rapid movements. Someone at some point is like, oh my gosh, I remembered my password, ran to their computer that they had in 2009, opened it up. They had 51 Bitcoin in there. They were like, just in case, I'm going to sell off 50 of them because I want to make some really good money. And Bitcoin crashed back down to $6,000. What is wrong with this market? I've mentioned, and it makes me almost ashamed to be a part of this market. When people ask me, when my friends, family members, whoever they may be, how often I get the question, should I buy Bitcoin? And I sit there sometimes like, I want to tell them yes, like I want to tell them it's a great market, it's very strong. And then stuff like this happens. Like, can you imagine telling someone to get into a market like this where what? It doesn't logically make any sense. No part of this. No actual part of this. And the worst part is the articles popping up right now talking about that this drop pushed us below resistance. This drop pushed us below so-and-so. We're looking at new lows. We're looking at so-and-so. And so people are talking about Bitcoin is going to slam back down to 6,000. And this induces fear in the market. This causes people, the same exact people who are selling off 7% This causes fear because they don't understand what all of this technology actually is and what it's for. It's complete nonsense that all of this can happen. People complain about whales doing it. People complain about the Bitcoin futures doing it. People complain as other rich people. Why are the rich people getting into the market? Is our market that fragile that someone can move 50 Bitcoin and the price drops by hundreds of dollars. It wasn't even, I can even see like a $15, $20 drop, like legit dollar drop. People being like, oh, that was kind of weird. Maybe someone found their password. What if Satoshi does move the bulk of his coins? What if there's another address that has 30,000 Bitcoin and they decide to move that as well? Maybe the person found their password and they're like, I need this money. The absolute dumbest thing in the entire world. The dumbest. I can't even actually put proper words to this. And I saw very, very, very few logical articles. It says why it's unlikely the 50 Bitcoin transaction from 2009 is Satoshi. Even if it was, why do people care? Why would that cause our market to drop? How many over the last 16, 12, 11 and a half, I don't care how many hours that this all took place? Did Bitcoin get any slower? Did the 50 million people who all are dealing in or have Bitcoin, did everyone sell off? Was there a massive mental connection that we all shared at one point and we were all like, let's sell off? The creator of this coin has decided to move his coins. It makes me worried for the rest of the cryptocurrency space. If Bitcoin is this fragile, what happens down the line? What happens if Bitcoin does hit $50,000 per coin and there are people who are like, it's time to cash out? And what if the Winklevoss twins, they own at least 300, 400,000 Bitcoin at this point? What if they decided to sell off half of them? In a market where we know that not only one person holds these coins, we know that there are more than 1,000 people. We know that there are more than 1 million people on the planet. All it takes is articles to be written to scare other people, to make them think, like, what is the significance? Like, can you imagine if Johnson & Johnson or Pepsi or some other company, someone has had stock in these companies for however long, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years, what have you. At some point, someone sells an original 50 stock from that company and the price goes down by 7%. It doesn't even sound real. You're all sitting there like, that would never happen. Of course. You don't understand how much anger I have because it's stupid things like this. And I would not be surprised. There would be number less than 0% of me surprised if this all happened simply because either someone found their password or there was someone who's been in the cryptocurrency space for a very long time just decided to move it, just to move the coins to see exactly what would happen to the price. Do you understand the level of manipulation that you allow within the market when other people can do things like this? What if this person had moved 500 coins? Would Bitcoin be $5,000 right now? What's the reason? I'm gonna move on because my blood pressure is very high right now because I can't logically map out why any of this would make sense. You know what's even crazier? Imagine we're 10 years in the future. It's the year 2030. Bam. Someone moves Bitcoin from a wallet that hasn't been touched since 2014, 2015. Will Bitcoin's price also then drop because that wallet hasn't been touched in 15 years? Is that all that it takes to move the cryptocurrency market? Did people logically expect these coins to never, ever, 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 ever move again? I'm actually waiting for an answer because I looked around and every other single crypto YouTuber, all they were like, oh man, this is crazy. Like, I'm expecting further drops. And I'm like, really? Like, are you also part of that idiot tribe? Like, how dumb do you have to be to even think that this should even induce any type of negative price movement? Bitcoin's fundamentals have not changed. We know that miners are getting back onto the network. They were waiting for the difficulty readjustment. Bam, it happened. They're getting back on. More people have been buying Bitcoin. Like, what happened over the course of 12 hours You know what it takes? The economy is garbage right now. The governments are printing trillions of dollars to help boost up these businesses that are going to flounder when they simply can't print anymore. And they've been going up in price. And when they go down by a good 1 to 2%. Bitcoin dropped by 7% because someone moved coins. What if Bitcoin had actually dropped to 1 transaction per second? Like, what if the actual fundamentals in some way were broken or impaired or damaged? What would logically then happen to Bitcoin? Nothing has happened. The last 24 hours that we were all talking together, what has changed except for it's dumb. I'm moving on. This is one of the worst things that's ever happened within the cryptocurrency space. It makes me lose faith is a nice way of saying it. That our market can be this dumb. You know how much faith I have in the cryptocurrency space? You know how much faith I have in Bitcoin and Ether, XRP, other coins just going forward and how much of a change they can make to the world? And then stupid stuff like this happens. I sit here sometime and I'm like, why? Like, what? Why do I do this to myself? Like, we all know that Bitcoin should be higher in price. There's the fact that Bitcoin is flirting or has been flirting with 10,000 as opposed to flirting with 2,000 logically tells me that Bitcoin's price is being pushed down on purpose. Bitcoin's price is constantly being pushed down over and over to make sure that it doesn't jump over that $10,000 level. If Bitcoin was that unresilient or that whatever, so and so, it would have, especially after all the push downs over and over, we would be logically around a $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 Bitcoin. There's no support. People keep pushing the price down. There's no demand. Bitcoin's price is going to go down. The fact that we've been constantly floundering up and down between $9,400 and $9,999.99 over and over the last couple of weeks, there's clear demand for it. Mathematically, people are making sure that Bitcoin doesn't pass by that golden 10,000 so that things don't set off. Nothing has changed in this market. Like, nothing logically has changed. It's so infuriating to be part of a market where stuff like this happens. And I can't be the only one who feels this way. I don't care if you hate my rants. Like, I honestly, at that point, please just go away. The amount of people I've seen over the last couple of weeks are like, I'm tired of you ranting. If you don't like it, leave the channel. Like, I don't have time for you or your ridiculous comments. Stop harassing the people in my comment section. Stop harassing me. Like, it's just go get a life. Just go somewhere else. You are probably, no, I'm so completely done with all of it. It's just illogical. Like, none of this logically makes sense. If you didn't sell, kudos to you. You are part of the smart tribe, as it were. I'm just assuming we're going to see more of a sell-off. I assume there will be some sort of other coordinated price drop down over the next couple of hours and or days as we move further towards or into the actual weekend. I don't get it. And the problem is that stuff like this is going to happen for years. And I mean years. It's probably just people behind the scenes who are trying to see exactly how fragile the market is. If we need a price drop, can we induce one? Well, my friend last month, he moved 50 Bitcoin. He did? Yeah, and the price dropped by 7%. Okay, that's great. We're looking to get in about a good 10 to 15 million into the market. Can you move the price? It's just like, what? I'm furious. Like, I'm actually furious. The articles out there are insane discussing this. How many people are so fascinated with it's his money? We don't know if it's Satoshi. He's gone into the ether. No one knows where he is. But if he did, or she did, or they did decide to move or use their money, who cares? Why was this the news of the last forever? I'm almost desperate to see another wallet from 2009 move 1,000 Bitcoin. I want to see what would happen to the market and how much panic would be induced. It just logically does not make any sense. Like, there are no actual mental connections that make this make sense in my mind. All right, I'm done because I can continue going on, and I don't think it's healthy for me to keep screaming like this. Anyway, that's that news. And let's move on. Jesse Pollack, the head of engineering for consumer products at Coinbase, is revealing what caused 2 outages that paralyzed the leading digital currency exchange during moments of peak trading volume and price action. In a new blog post published, Pollack says the first incident on the 29th of April was initially caused by an increase in the rate of new connections hitting its primary databases. He said when this spike in connections occurred, the hosting operating system for the database began rejecting new TCP connections to the host, which triggered degraded operations and restarts in the routing layer for the database. Initial attempts to mitigate the situation were unsuccessful, and users had trouble accessing Coinbase during the day. Another outage hit the exchange on the 9th of May as market volatility picked up. Pollack said the outage that day was linked to increased latency across ongoing HTTP requests that ultimately triggered a throttling of DNS inquiries. Pollack says Coinbase is rolling out improvements to prevent similar incidents in the future. The problem is that this same exact crap was happening in 2017. The same exact thing was happening. And this was before all of this even took place. We also had news yesterday, the day before, I don't remember exactly when it was, as to why BitMEX had been continuously going offline. Even the news that we just had that BitMEX went offline as Bitcoin looked about a day or two ago like it was about to go above $10,000, and then their system also shut off. I mean, like, this can't happen anymore. Like, these things simply cannot take place. When you talk about the growth of the cryptocurrency industry and trying to make sure that the cryptocurrency industry is secure, is safe, is static free, that everything kind of completely smoothly moves. In 2017, we had so many problems with cryptocurrency exchanges, and the constant answer that we got was, we're gonna fix it, it's gonna be better, this will never take place again. You can find these articles, 2017, 2018, beginning of 2018, you can find these articles. The amount of cryptocurrency exchanges that kept on crashing, falling apart, prices dropping, and we just assumed at that point that it was bad infrastructure. The people from Coinbase said at the beginning of 2017 to the end of 2017 that they simply could not handle it. Their estimates had said that Bitcoin was not going to go over $5,000 for another couple of years, and therefore they did not expect this huge influx. I think it was Coinbase and Kraken at this point. I think they had over 50,000 to 100,000 new signups per day. Logically, they can't handle it. When 3 years go by, and because of increased trading volume, not even new people getting onto your platform, you should have it so that you should be able to handle about a good, especially with all the money flowing through your company. We know that these companies are worth billions now. It's probably okay to invest a good 50 million into proper infrastructure to make sure. This is when Bitcoin's price, Bitcoin hasn't even gone over 10,000. Imagine what's going to happen to their systems when Bitcoin hits 15,000, when Bitcoin is at $19,000, all their systems are going to completely crumble. If you can't handle this madness when Bitcoin is at $9,000, your systems are going to become dust when Bitcoin is nearing. Imagine Bitcoin nearing $50,000. You can't handle it now. It's time to get it together. Because if we have a situation, people are going to be furious. People are going to be very angry if Bitcoin is going up and these people have sell orders at 20, 25,000 and your sell order does not go through because Coinbase and BitMEX crash and the cryptocurrency market goes down, people are going to be furious. Like, I don't think I'm already upset the other day when we had that news that we were nearing 10,000 and BitMEX went down and that caused the wider industry to also start to sell off. That's stupidity. The fact that the 29th of April, the 9th of May, you still don't have your crap together, it's time to get it. You don't have much longer, especially with all this news that we keep getting. That I mean, before all this took place the last 12 hours, that Bitcoin is golden crossing and Bitcoin is this and this happened to Bitcoin and Bitcoin's looking set to skyrocket and Bitcoin 25,000 by the really? How are we going to get to 25,000 by the end of the year if you can't handle $9,000? That's a huge problem for the cryptocurrency market, especially when you tout yourself as one of the industry leaders. Get it together. I don't understand how I mean, listen, I would make sure my systems were so robust because one has to assume with the opening up of new fiat gateways, the new coins being added, Coinbase has a lot. I was going to say a lot of coins. They have 15, 16, 17 coins on their platform. 2017, they had Bitcoin and Ether and Litecoin. What will happen to their systems? Imagine these altcoins start going up rapidly in price. Imagine Bitcoin is 23,000. They probably won't even make it to 23,000. I'm telling you, I'm foreseeing it right now. Can you imagine you have a sell order? You are waiting for a certain price to click sell. You can buy that house. You can buy that thing you've been waiting for. And the market corrects. I'm air quoting the heck out of the air right now. Because we keep getting news that when things like this happen, that the market has corrected. No, there was no correction. It's usually always some type of a fault on a cryptocurrency exchange or someone just moving around coins. These are not corrections to the market. Like, a correction indicates that something is wrong and has to be corrected, or that something has flown up too far, it's too overbought, too oversold, and therefore a movement has to take place to correct it to where it should be. These aren't corrections. This is lack. And my brain short circuiting right now. The point is, that's the excuse from Coinbase as to what's been happening. I'm telling you right now, they have until June, July. If we see any reversal and prices start skyrocketing and BitMEX and Coinbase crash, it's over. It's absolutely over. Next up, one of the core goals of Bakkt is to bring digital assets mainstream. In a summary update of the achievements of the firm earlier today, the president of Bakkt, Adam White, highlighted that it had unlocked digital assets for more than 70 institutional investors. Wow, that's wonderful. The Bakkt warehouse now provides regulated Bitcoin custody solutions for these firms, in addition to supporting the delivery of Bitcoin futures and options contracts. Additionally, Mr. White pointed out that retail investors, everyday normal people, can now sign up for exclusive updates and early access to the Bakkt mobile app by visiting that website. He explained that the yet-to-be-launched mobile app would unlock the value of digital assets for consumers, merchants, and institutions. His statements echoed what Bakkt CEO Mike Blandina explained in a Medium post back in mid-March regarding the firm's dedication in onboarding as many retail investors as possible through the Bakkt mobile app. He went on to express his optimism that the Bakkt mobile app will be available as early as this summer. This is the website for it right here. It's a very awkward website. I don't know if these people are dancing or getting exercise, but this is the actual website for it right here. We had news and indications that the Bakkt mobile app was going to be coming in 2018. It's about time that they finally got this rolled out. No real specifications as to exactly what's going to be happening on this app. Is it simply a custody solution? Will you be able to actually trade your cryptocurrency on here as well? Will you be able to do the actual Bitcoin futures? Like, what exactly does this entail? I assume it's going to have a thing as well with the companies that we had heard from in 2019. It was Whole Foods, it was Nordstrom, and a bunch of other places who were also part of this and were going to be accepting Bitcoin. So I assume they're going to have like a tap mobile feature and kind of stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, sure, go for it. I wonder why it took them so long to launch all of this. I don't even dare say that I'm happy that it's being launched. It just seems logical that everyone is going to have some type of a Bitcoin cryptocurrency mobile app sometime in the very near future. We saw a couple of companies, what was it, last year, who were launching all of these blockchain phones and custody wallets and all this other stuff. Anyway, yeah, Bakkt is launching their mobile app. Doesn't say when. It says summer, so I assume June or July. And then maybe that causes a bit more momentum in the cryptocurrency space, because Bakkt was meant to be a huge tidal wave hitting all of us. But I mean, behind the scenes, you know, I'm sure they're custodying hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin. We had the news, what was it, a day or two ago, that they what is it? Their new insurance policy for Bakkt is now $500 million. So one can assume they're custodying more than a Bitcoin. Anyway, yeah, that's that news. I'm still riled up. Like, you have no idea. Like, I'm legit boiling right now. That's the Bakkt news. And let's move on. Next up, new statistics about the source of the Bitcoin hash rate revealed that more than half of the asset's hash rate is controlled by 2 mining pools. Recent data suggests that the Bitcoin network has been becoming increasingly centralized between 2 major mining pools. The mining pools have come to dominate the network's hash rate after its block reward was halved on the 11th of May. Both of these mining pools are located in China. According to data regarding Bitcoin's pool distribution, 3 mining pools control the majority of Bitcoin's hash rate. These are F2 Pool, Ant Pool, and BTC.com, which account for 28, 16, and 15% respectively. Apparently, as Bitmain and F2 Pool, they control 52% of the network's hash rate. It says, "Is Bitcoin becoming centralized?" Listen, I'm tired of this nonsense. I'm tired of these stupid articles. When you exist or live with or allowed to enter a decentralized network, it means that everyone, in essence, has their own chance, their own way to be able to do so in their own manner. When people take advantage of said situation and allow themselves to make sure that they, I mean, it's math. You know how many computers to buy to be able to increase your hash rate. You know how much money, how much funding you need to be able to buy a huge warehouse, to be able to buy a huge so-and-so, to be able to get enough computers to make sure that you remain the dominant source for the hash rate. The fact that this is not happening in other parts of the world does not really essentially concern China. The fact that there's not a huge Bitcoin mining pool association in Estonia, in Germany, in the UK, in Iceland, in the States, in Canada, in Mexico, in Brazil, in Venezuela, in South Africa, in Alaska, in anywhere else does not, like, it's not, here's my opinion, it's not China's fault that they're controlling the hash rate. If other people really had an issue with this, they would pool their money together and they would make sure that they had other cryptocurrency Bitcoin mining stations around the world to be able to dominate the hash rate as well. This has been news since 2016, 2015. When we saw before, many other times, it was always 2 companies. And it's been the same exact ones for years as well, that they control a huge portion of Bitcoin's hash rate. Because mathematically, once again, not only are they already hugely invested, they probably understand the future prospects of where Bitcoin is going to be price-wise. Just logically, it makes a lot of sense. So they're going to want to put as much effort as possible to getting as much as they can. When we talk about the actual growth of the cryptocurrency space, the cryptocurrency market, Bitcoin's hash rate, Bitcoin's all this other stuff, this is why a lot of times I'm surprised. Remember when I mentioned before that I thought we would see a huge uptick in the actual usage of the Lightning Network by companies and corporations? I assumed that they had more than just custodying cryptocurrency or allowing you to custody with them or all this other stuff, that they would have simply also opened up their own cryptocurrency mining operation somewhere to be able to take a huge portion of this pie. This isn't really a discussion anymore. This has been 4 years. A lot takes place in 4 years. A lot of movement can happen in 4 years. The fact that other countries, other companies, other organizations, other rich people within the cryptocurrency space, there are a lot of billionaires within the cryptocurrency space who could have logically, probably should have created their own cryptocurrency mining factories somewhere in the cliffs of Scotland, somewhere in the backwoods of so and so, to make sure that they capture 4%, 5%, 3.5% of the Bitcoin hash rate around the world so that they can take away more of the power that's happening or being controlled by these simple cryptocurrency pools. It's also part of a who care kinds of thing. This happens over and over. I'm not sure if this website simply is anti-Bitcoin. I'm not sure if it's They like Ethereum a bit more. I don't know, and I frankly don't honestly really care. The point is, this is going to continue to happen. As long as other places don't open up their huge own mining Bitcoin creation facilities, we're going to keep getting news like this. Of course they control the hash rate. Listen to the news that we just had in the other video, where the government keeps putting out books educating their citizens on Bitcoin. How many of you live in a country, raise your hands, and no one's going to raise their hands, where your government has printed or created PDFs, your central bank has created books, or told you to go out and read about and learn about blockchain and Bitcoin? No one? None of you raise your hands? Of course not. You know how insane it is that this is the one major country on the planet that has continuously mentioned over and over how much they hate Bitcoin, but they still educate all the people within their country about what it is, create PDFs for them to be able to read and look at and learn. Think of how insane it is. And even before, there was a TV show. We went over this last year as well. There was a TV show in this country after they had released and taken Andreas Antonopoulos' book and renamed it Mastering Blockchain. There was a multi-hour thing on their national TV channel station. For those of you who were here, you remember me talking about this. That explained blockchain to their people. That means at least, if you have over 1 billion people in your country, let's say at least 700 million probably were at home. I assume this was also run in a loop, so at some point you had to sit there and watch it. 700 million people in their country learned what blockchain was, what Bitcoin was. They explained what the Bitcoin halving was and how pertinent it had been to Bitcoin's price and its movements and its scarcity. How many of your countries did that? I'm waiting. I'm honestly waiting. I'm legit, like, I'm waiting for someone to be like me. It hasn't happened. So when you have a situation where everyone more or less knows and the interest starts to pick up and rich people are also watching TV and they go, that sounds like a really good business opportunity. Like, imagine if the US, the EU, huge swaths of Africa or other parts of Asia had taken Andreas Antonopoulos' book and told their citizens, read this book. You can't read? Cool, no problem. We'll put in a 3-4 hour long TV show to explain this further to you. Oh, you can't look at stuff on the TV because you don't have one? Cool, that's fine. Our central bank will create a PDF that has cool, funny, amazing photos of people getting married and buying Bitcoin and explain everything to you. Of course they control the hash rate. Of course they're going to dominate in the market because it makes so much, they have the information that they need. While the rest of the world is concerned about Kardashians and buying cars and all this other stupid nonsense, of course they control the industry. Of course they're the first major country to create their own central bank digital currency. This is just logically going to happen until other countries really get it together. This is why I always say, do your own research. You have to learn more. You have to continuously absorb more information. It's the only way to move forward in life. So the news is China still controls a large portion of the Bitcoin mining hash rate. None of you should be surprised after everything I just said. Like, none of you should even, whatever. I mean, it's just, of course they're going to. Of course. Control of everything from here also trickles down to constant bursts of information across the people. Like, how stupid has the news become over the last couple of years? Pay attention. Like, look at the news. It's completely dumb. Imagine if a portion of your news that you read every day from a newspaper, from the internet, wherever you get your source, was about this new form of money that can go anywhere around the world at any point, 24 hours a day, had increased significantly in price and how it benefits you. Your government may say you can't trade it, but you can still own it. This could be a really good asset for you and your family. That's never going to happen in your country. And this is why, once again, they control a huge portion of the hash rate. And it's going to continue as the years go on. Because other countries simply don't care. And the craziest part's going to be when people hear become exceedingly rich from owning all this Bitcoin and the other fractions and stuff like that, no one can get mad at them. You can't get mad 18 years later that someone did something that you didn't do. It's just nonsense. So that's that news. This was also major news as well, floating around everywhere. People were talking about the centralization of Bitcoin. Bitcoin doesn't, how do I explain this? It's not Bitcoin's fault that other people on the other side of the world are taking notice to it. They find Bitcoin pretty. They gave Bitcoin the ring. And therefore, well, I mean, you know, they got the gold. That's just how it works. Logically, mathematically, logically. That's how it goes. Next up, the U.S. Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has given XRP a nod for its use in cross-border money transfers. According to a paper published on the 11th of May, the CFPB has been researching new developments in the remittance market, including trends related to digital currencies. The organization, who is responsible for protecting consumers in the financial sector, wrote on the continued growth and expanding partnerships of companies such as Ripple. The paper also noted the use of XRP for settlement of cross-border money transfers. They said the Bureau has continued to monitor the continued growth and expanding partnerships of virtual currencies companies such as Ripple, which offer both a payments messaging platform to support cross-border money transfers as well as a virtual currency, XRP, which can be used to effect settlement of those transfers. Interestingly, the CFPB seemed to praise Ripple for bringing simplicity and transparency to the banking industry. For those of you who think that Ripple is not going to make it, for those of you who think that XRP is not going to be used, I don't know what to tell you anymore. I had assumed that logic would have set in a while ago and that you really just would have gotten it. You drank some Kool-Aid in 2016 and the taste of it is still on your lips. Get over it. I don't know what the problem is. It's abundantly clear. While you may not agree with the banking system, while the banking system may be garbage, while corruption and banks and banksters and all that other stuff may be floating around, it's clear when you have the U.S. Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, when you have the U.S. Fed, who also gave the thumbs up to Ripple and XRP a couple of years ago, when you have all these major companies and corporations and you've partnered with hundreds of banks, and the people who sit on your board are people from the CFTC, the SEC. I think there's also a board member on Ripple from the World Bank. I don't understand. Like, I can totally understand the hate for them. Like, I understand wanting to, you know, fight against the man and fight the power and all that other stuff. But to bet against them at this point is just completely ridiculous. I think your energy would be better spent complaining to Coinbase. Why do you keep crashing? Like, any efforts in the comment section for people talking about how terrible Ripple is or trying to convince other people that XRP is not going to be used. The problem is people who are into XRP read through the actual articles and pay attention to what XRP and Ripple are doing. And they know that it's being used. They see the increased amount of usage on the ledger. They see the remittance companies who are signing on. They see the usage of Coil. They see the usage of all these other platforms as well. When you have the people, what was the other thing? I think the International Monetary Fund also gave a thumbs up to Ripple. They sit on the same panels talking about the future of money, and they agree with Ripple about what they're doing. I mean, I don't know what to really tell you at this point. I mean, it's your arguments and your energy futile. I think that's the word I'm trying to go for. Put your energy somewhere else. Find another coin that you really don't like that is actually crap, that's actually not going to be used. I mean, how many more major entities need to say the word XRP for you to be like, okay, let's move on? Like, imagine if all the hate that you had for XRP, because usually the hate for XRP comes from people who like Bitcoin, who like really like BTC. Imagine if that same energy was used against like Bcash or against Satoshi's Vision. Like, we know that these coins are garbage. Like, we know that no one's actively using them. Like, we know mathematically that like apps are using them to send them back and forth. Like, it's empty transactions that are passing through these networks. Imagine if you actually put your effort and hate that you have for XRP, which is clearly going to make it in some capacity, towards other Bitcoin clones, and spread the gospel of, hey, those aren't the real Bitcoin, and let other people know why they're not the real Bitcoin, so that Bitcoin itself, BTC, can become stronger. So then at that point, the only thing that Bitcoin really has to squash later on by itself, because it's stronger, is then XRP. A lot of misguided energy within the cryptocurrency space. Anyway, yeah, the CFPB has given the nod to XRP and Ripple because, of course, I mean, every single major money entity in the world, they've partnered with every single bank in India. What more do you like? What are you not getting? What's the haps? I don't get it. Is this part of it? Yeah. Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and they talk about it, and then they have the PDF, which I'm not going to open. I don't really try to open up weird PDFs. Anyway, that's news. And let's move on. And to finish things off, on Tuesday, the Atari Group announced a partnership with the Litecoin Foundation, betting on the overlap of interests between the crypto and gaming communities. Atari has raised 47 Bitcoin, wow, worth around $500,000 over the course of the pre-sale stage of its ICO. The funds came mostly from partners. Not only will Atari accept investments in Litecoin, Bitcoin, and Ether, but gamers will also be able to pay for its upcoming video computer system, or VCS, with Litecoin and receive a discount. It will be available at the Foundation's online store. Atari CEO Frederick Chesney told Cointelegraph that he hopes the Litecoin community will be receptive to the partnership. He said, "I hope Litecoins is a big community. There's a good overlap. At the end of the day, we are just hoping that people will take advantage of the discounts and will take advantage of the opportunity to use Litecoin as well." Jay Miller, the head of marketing at Litecoin Foundation, said to Cointelegraph that he also believes there's an overlap between the two communities. Oh boy. So the news is that Litecoin has a new partnership. The other part is Atari has an ICO because they're making a coin. You already know what I'm going to say. I don't think I even have to say it. I will say congratulations to Litecoin on their new partnership. I believe this is the actual Atari website. It says Atari partners with Litecoin Foundation, adding Litecoin as means of payment for upcoming Atari token, Atari VCS game system, and other future products. I wish them the best of luck in this endeavor. I hope they launch. And without further ado, yeah, let us move on. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters: Professor Wally from Gunbot University, Utopia569, Yasha Harari, Moonman High XRP, The Pothead, Joshua Vineyard, Martin Storio, Chongo Lolo, Zongo Lolo, Nostromo, John Sarson, The Animal Reader, A Bibliophobia, Todd Mullis, Adam Graysick, Mohan Maroni, Master Ventures in Thailand, Jared Schneider, Wise Knight Owl, 242 to the World, Crypto Joe, Bankroll Network, Adobo, Crypto Artist, Cold D3D, Nicholas Renault, One Piece, One Love, Damien, Setsuna, Nick Kanaya, Richie Wish III, Vlad the Impaler, Paxis, Nick Mangialavori, Anthony Charles, Jim Gardner, Jeremy Fox, Minting Coins, Miller Hitch Test Every Day, and Kyle Skips Leg Day, Yes to Crypto, Bodie McButtface, Anytime Fitness, Monk's Corner Staff, ArfMedic17, Bake Me a Cake, Tigger Ramacho Nisa, On Crypto with Lionel, Crayola Michelle, URL, and hold on, I have to sneeze. Thank you all very, very much for your support. Thank you to everyone who is or has subscribed to the new channel I have. I think I have, because of all of you, have over 6,000 subs, which is incredible, in about a good week and a half. Thank you to everyone who is a member of this channel. I do thank you abundantly, allotedly. Thank you all very, very much. At the moment, Bitcoin's price is currently 9,394. That's the drop right there. It also happened, of course, across the wider cryptocurrency space. Tether has spiked because this was another sell-off that was currently taking place within the cryptocurrency market. No real reason as to why there's a further decline. Like I said, and it is what it is at the end of the day. I rant and rave. You probably come here and watch or listen to the channel because I rant and rave. And I'll tell you this right now. If you don't know me, if you haven't seen me on the other channel, this is just how I am. Like I'm a very passionate person when it comes to these things. But when I see stupidity, I have to call it out. Like, it makes me really annoyed because I just want to make sure that other people understand that it's also stupidity. The fundamentals for Bitcoin have not changed. If we get to a point where 65% of the miners on the network leave, if we get to a point where Bitcoin can barely do a transaction per second, I mean, at that point, then we'll all come together and have a really strong, realistic conversation as to exactly if we should be moving forward within the cryptocurrency space. Nothing has changed. Someone moved coins. That's like, I've thought of other scenarios. Like, I thought of like somebody having 1 million cars and then moving one. Someone having 1 million bananas and like moving the first 50 that they made. Like, I've thought of so many different ways to try and like explain it to people. It just does not make sense. There's nothing that even holds an argument. I assume as the video has gone on, I've at least gotten 15 comments of people who are trying to explain to me why the price moved down. I don't care if it's fear. I don't care if it's speculation. If the entire point is of the market and of Bitcoin that we are allowed to do with our money as we wish. Imagine getting afraid that the creator who gave us these rules for the network is doing what he said he should be able to do on the network and then panicking for it. Like, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. A lot of the market is down. Who cares if this coin is up? It just, well, even why is Omise go up? This has to still be something behind the scenes in Coinbase has to be rumbling. Speculation time. Either Omise Go is getting ready to launch their mainnet, or people really love going onto Coinbase and seeing the letters OMG and they're like, OMG, I gotta buy it. Besides that, I'm shocked that it hasn't been dragged down by the downtrend. That is definitely 1000% gonna do it for this video. I'm exhausted, just mentally and physically. Like, it was a lot of flailing. It was a lot of screaming. It's really, man, it's crazy. I've never been in a market like this. Like, I can't even imagine. This doesn't happen for the housing market. Well, like, first of all, you can't move houses. But imagine if you are in a city and there were 21 million homes. 30, 40 years ago, somebody who bought the first 50 homes in that town was like, yeah, it's time for me to move on. And even then, they sold their houses. The housing market in that city with 21 million homes, or even, 18 million homes currently, would not have dropped by 7%. If someone had sold 50, if Peter Schiff had sold 50 gold bars, I'm pretty sure the market also wouldn't have dropped by 7%. Like, it's just, it's just so annoying. It's just a lot, man. It's just really a lot. I know in the years to come, the market will be stronger. It won't be as influenced by movements like this, but it's mentally taxing when you know myself that Bitcoin is undervalued. The usage of Bitcoin is larger and higher than it's ever been. And you get somebody, a person, the movements. Oh my gosh, I can't deal with their movements. They're clearly not into it. Like, looks like he's running to the bathroom. I mean, it just is what it is. I hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope that it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.